What? They've got to be breaking the salary cap, the soft cap, the Morris Finance. They're giving him farms. What's up, everybody? Paul here from the Hoops Crew. And after that interesting introduction, I want to talk about Nathan Buckley. Nathan Buckley has joined the Geelong Football Club, and I put that little clip together at the beginning there just to take the piss out of every single individual out there who wants to take a crack at the Cats right now and say that we're giving them money in farms, we're using sponsors, we're all this supposed fraudulent stuff that we all know is not actually a concern at the end of the day. I want to talk about it and quickly joke about it because there's nothing to see here. Nathan Buckley, former Collingwood legend, both as a player and a coach, has joined the Geelong Football Club as an assistant coach. And there's a lot that I want to discuss about this particular appointment. There's a lot that we don't know. There's a lot we can speculate upon. There's some details as to how quickly this all came together. And I'm keen to pick through all of it with you in this video. But first, let's take a word from our sponsor.
The Hoops Crew Media Network is proudly sponsored by Cyril Cook Florist. Visit them at shop 1211 Leather Street in Breakwater. Phone them on 035 222 2244 or visit their website at www.cyrilcookflorist.com.au and use the offer code GOCATS in the voucher field at checkout to get 20% off your next online purchase.
Thank you, Cyril Cook Florist, as always, for your ongoing support of the Hoops Crew and all we get up to. Now, let's get through the news here. Let's get all the facts out of the way, talk about some other bits and pieces that we've heard through the grapevine, specifically Nathan Buckley himself, and then pick through the possibilities and what this could afford the Geelong Football Club in the next couple of years. So as we can see here, Nathan Buckley joins the Cats coaching staff. Geelong has secured the services of Nathan Buckley as an assistant coach for 2026. And we've got our nice little welcome graphic here. Note, they do just say for 2026, so they don't talk about anything beyond that. And of course, we'll speculate a little bit upon that shortly. But it says the Geelong Cats are pleased to announce Nathan Buckley will join the club as an assistant coach ahead of the 2026 AFL season. Following a decorated career of 280 games, Buckley transitioned into coaching, first joining Collingwood's coaching panel as an assistant coach in 2010 before taking on the senior role in 2012. Mick Malthouse felt that all happened very, very quickly. Across his 10-year coaching career, Buckley guided Collingwood through 5 finals campaigns, including 2 preliminary finals, as well as taking the Pies to the 2018 grand final. Shout out to Dom Sheed. For the past 4 years, Buckley has worked in the media as a respected commentator, providing insightful analysis on the game through his roles with Fox Footy and SEN. Geelong Cats Executive General Manager of Football, Andrew Mackey, said the club is pleased to welcome Nathan to an experienced coaching group. We're excited to add Nathan to our club and more specifically to our coaching group. He is respected and highly regarded across the football industry and brings a wealth of experience and a fresh perspective, Mackey said. In speaking with Nathan, it was clear he had a strong appetite to return to coaching, and we look forward to welcoming him to our football program to work closely with our players and staff. Now, let's talk about, I guess, what all of this means in the first place for the Cats. There's a lot of things we can kind of infer from the news. Firstly, let's start with the fact that 2026, that the wording is very specific. They're not talking about, we're welcoming into the club. They're talking about specifically 2026. And the main reason why I think we should all be going, maybe it is just 2026 is because there is still this talk about Tasmania. And he is very openly, and since this appointment, been pretty open about his interest in going to coach Tasmania in the future. And as such, that means that any stay with Geelong, assuming he ultimately gets the job, and that is an assumption, there's lots of other people who could find themselves putting up their hand in the future. Assuming Nathan Buckley gets that job, presumably that's going to begin effective 2027. Even if it's not head coaching because the club's not going to enter the system that quickly, the 2027 draft is going to be ripe for the picking for Tasmania. Assuming, again, everything plays out as it's expected to, the stadium, etc. Assuming that all plays out, Tasmania will be entering shortly after that 2027 AFL draft, and it's not going to be long then before he's right in the weeds and head coach, assuming he does get that job. So we don't want to get too carried away here. We're not talking about a guy who is signing up for the long term. That said, if I just put my tinfoil hat on for a second, there is also a possibility here that there's some sort of apprenticeship that he's serving, and that maybe the word on the street is, and we'll probably do another video for this in in the future if it turns out to be true. But the word on the street at the moment is that Chris Scott is on the verge of signing a 3-year contract extension at the Cats that will take him to the end of 2029. And maybe there's some possibility that we've got some sort of a handover in the future as well. That doesn't fit timeline-wise, and the Tasmania opportunity would pop up first. And surely if Nathan Buckley got the opportunity to coach Tasmania, he would take it because there's an opportunity right there before him if he gets offered it, as opposed to a what-if at the Geelong Football Club. Maybe Chris Scott chooses to stick around. Maybe there's someone else that they determine to be a preferred candidate. You don't really say no to opportunities when they're right there in front of you in this particular system. But in the event that Tasmania doesn't work out, or it's delayed, or the job doesn't work out for him, you could see a scenario here where there is a transition. It won't be as ugly, I suspect, as what we saw between Nathan Buckley and Michael Malthouse, but you could see a possibility here. I mean, Chris Scott has been now the coach of Geelong for a long, long time, going back to 2011, and that's not normal to see in the current climate, to see a coach spend so much time at one club. Now, very fortunate in the sense that Chris Scott has been the leader of a very dominant Geelong Football Club over that entire period. But usually coaches move on. You know, we see what happened with Alistair Clarkson, who was still doing a fantastic job at Hawthorn. He was in the midst of another rebuild, only for Sam Mitchell to come in and take the role. We saw Mick Malthouse doing a fantastic job at the Pies, taking him to the premiership in 2010, only for them to announce, and again, I think the circumstances of this were a bit uglier, but only for them to announce that Nathan Buckley would be taking over the reins from the end of 2011 onwards. And they lost that grand final, and you could feel the tension the whole way through the final series for them. They lost that, but Nathan Buckley stepped up and took the reins. We've seen this sort of thing. I mean, there's heaps of others. Paul Roos into Simon Goodwin. We've seen Paul Roos into John Longmire. We've seen a whole host of these different transitions over the years, and they can work quite well. There's no reason to think why this isn't a distinct possibility in the future. And it would also, for Nathan Buckley, keep him in the state of Victoria, which could be a really important factor for him and his family. So it's something to consider here. What I do want to quickly go through here is again, some of the commentary and the stupidity that, that I've already seen online. Oh, Geelong's breaching the soft cap and blah, 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 blah. Well, there's a large injection of money that all clubs are getting into their salary cap, into their soft cap, I should say, going into season 2026. And Geelong just lost a guy who became a head coach, Stephen King. We've got the money. And you can speculate all you want about the fraudulent stuff. We've got the money without anything dodgy. Nathan Buckley will come across. He'll do a fantastic job, and I think will offer quite a lot to the Cats. He'll be a great foil for Chris Scott. And one of the most interesting things for us as Cats fans in terms of getting insight into the club, and the Geelong Football Club historically does a fantastic job of saying a lot, especially Chris Scott, of saying a lot, but also nothing at the same time. Nathan Buckley is going to be, supposedly, and I'm sure this has been approved by the AFL, or it'll have to be workshopped and tweaked and looked at a little bit. The commitment is there that Nathan Buckley is going to continue on in his media responsibilities. He's going to be a full-time assistant coach of the Geelong Football Club, but also do his work for Fox Footy and for radio. And so, as Cats fans, I think we should be really excited by this. He's, of course, going to talk about other clubs. It's going to be a really interesting one because he's going to be compromised somewhat. You don't want to share the secrets of the Cats. You don't want to say something that potentially provides ammunition to an opposition team. And I can see this being a really sensitive and tricky conversation going into 2026 once he makes a comment that could be deemed a little bit inflammatory. Are we going to start to see a very safe Nathan Buckley in the media space where he doesn't speak his mind as much? That would be really disappointing because I actually think he's done a fantastic job in his media role the last few years. He is a wonderful football mind. And it would be a shame if it's blunted a little bit. But at the same time, you kind of have to expect that a smidge. You don't want to overshare too much about what's going on within the four walls of the Cats. And you don't want to provide ammunition to the opposition team if you say something that upsets them and spurs them on to have a crack at the Cats the next week or somewhere down the line. So I'm really intrigued to see how this one works out, especially through his media lens. Does it get approved? And if so, what does it do to the Nathan Buckley that people see on screen or on radio? Do we get that same level of insight? Do we as Cats fans get more insight because we've got someone there who can speak to the goings-on of the club more regularly than what Chris Scott does, etc.? Because Chris Scott will have his press conferences. Again, he says a lot but says nothing at the same time. Our various other assistant coaches will pop up for media opportunities from time to time, but this is a fixed thing. So I'm really interested to see how this plays out. And Cats fans, I'm keen to hear your thoughts on it. Pies fans, I'm also keen to hear what you've got to say about this. There's no gloating here, taking away a favourite son. Obviously, Collingwood, they've really reaped the benefits of an incredible individual, both as an on-field participant and an off-field one. And we thank them. And again, not with a hint of sarcasm here, we thank them for what they've done and then hopefully what he can bring to the Geelong Football Club. I know you kind of want some sort of na thing, but no, it's not like that at all. I think he's an incredible individual and can offer a lot. And if this is just the stepping stone for a Tasmania pursuit, where he can kind of step back into the system, it's been 4 years as of this point since he last was in the coaching ranks. If this is an opportunity to just get back in, shake off the cobwebs, get rid of a bit of rust, then that makes a lot of sense too. And for his personal endeavors, this makes all the sense in the world. It's going to be valuable for the Cats, and this is going to be a valuable experience for him as well. So I think this can only work well for all parties involved. But again, like I said, Cats fans, Pies fans, neutrals, I'm keen to hear your thoughts. Use that comment section and share what's on your mind. If you like this video, drop a like on it. Visit the YouTube channel. Check out all the stuff we're doing there. Subscribe to the Hoops Crew on YouTube. Check out all the content from myself, Ben, and the chaps. If you like that, we're on Patreon as well. Patreon.com/thehoopscrew. You can get early access, extended content, and exclusives right there behind the $5 a month paywall. And if you want to see what it's like, consider taking up a free trial. There's a 7-day free trial period there for you to see what it's all about. And yeah, like I said, try before you buy. Hopefully you enjoy what we've got. You'll find me on socials at Paul James Games. That's Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram. The Hoops Crew, you'll find at the Hoops Crew. And until next time, remain Geelong strong, everyone. Welcome to Geelong, Nathan Buckley, and I'll see you later.